So we were talking about impact monitoring. Environmental monitoring is one of the most important components of an EIA. This is done to ensure that the impacts do not exceed the legal standards and an early warning of any kind of potential environmental damage is provided to us in time. The last thing, of course, is evaluation, which is very, very important. An EIA evaluation is a continuous process through which project impacts can be objectively assessed. An EIA evaluation is primarily employed to assess the performance of environmental protection programs that are undertaken by responsible public or private sector agencies. Environmental auditing, again very important. We all know that auditing refers to the examination and assessment of performance. Now in EIA, an audit assesses the actual environmental impact, the accuracy of prediction, the effectiveness of environmental impact mitigation measures, and the functioning of monitoring mechanisms. The audit is undertaken after the project has been operational for some time. Now we'll quickly run through the kinds of audit. The decision point audit examines the effectiveness of EIA as a decision-making tool. The implementation audit, which ensures that the consented conditions have been met. The performance audit examines the responses of agencies concerned with project management. Project impact audit, which examines the environmental changes arising from project implementation. The prediction technique audit, which examines the accuracy and utility of predictive techniques by comparing actual against the predicted environmental effects. And the EIA procedure audit, which critically examines the methods and approach adopted during the EIA study. The last and the most important part is the life cycle assessment. Now, what is this? LCA is a tool that can be used to evaluate the environmental effects of a product, process, or activity that are the outcome of or that repeats or happens repeatedly in a production process in a cyclic manner. It also evaluates the environmental effects associated with any given activity from the initial gathering of raw materials from earth up to the point at which all materials are returned to the earth. What we are trying to say here is that whatever raw materials are, the diagram says the inputs are the raw materials and the energy that goes into the process of production. Finally, whatever raw materials return to the earth, meaning the waste that has to be disposed into the atmosphere has to be done very, very carefully. So whether it is the chemical waste that comes out from chemical factories that has to be disposed very carefully after it is treated, so that in case we are disposing it into the sea, it does not alter the water, the nature of water running in the sea. Then we have these biomedical wastes that are thrown out of hospitals after various surgeries are performed. It could be used bandage, syringes, needles, amputated body parts. It could be pus. Any such thing, if thrown into the environment carelessly, can harm any living organism that comes in contact with it. So it is very important to dispose the biomedical waste very carefully. Same goes for the radioactive wastes. So if there are used X-ray films, or there is thorium, or there is any other radioactive material, it is always carried in lead boxes, so that once it comes in touch with the atmosphere and people living in it, it should not pollute it. So this is what we are talking about when we talk about the stages and boundaries of the life cycle assessment. Also, the methodology of LCA has 4 points: goal definition and scoping. The notes have already been provided to you. Life cycle inventory, LCI, the impact assessment, how much impact can it make to the environment, and the improvement assessment. What is life cycle management then? Life cycle management, it includes all the decisions and actions taken by multiple stakeholders which ultimately determine the environmental profile and sustainability of the product system. These stakeholders could be who all? The users and public. It is very important for me as a user of a particular product to know what harm is it creating, not only in the environment but also to me as a user. And even general public should be aware about it. And we need to modify our behavior and lifestyle, so that we use we use products which are high end in technology, but we use them very responsibly, because it's not only us, it's also about the future generations that are about to come. Then of course the policymakers and regulators, they should be developing policies to promote sustainable economies and apply new regulatory instruments to modify the existing regulations when it comes to checking and inspecting the processes of these products. Then of course the suppliers, the manufacturers, and the end of life management. The R&D activities should concentrate on more sustainable technologies. The manufacturers should be designing cleaner products and processes, and of course improve the effectiveness of the EMS. Investors and the shareholders should not be supporting any product or process which has the capability of harming the environment. That is very important. The service industry, of course, has to maintain and repair products, so should be sure about disposing the waste carefully. The insurance industry, to assess risk and cover losses, is their main responsibility. So here we come to the end of this topic called environmental quality management. For any clarifications, please feel free to mail me at the following ID. Thank you so much.